Hey guys, starting the video with the disclaimer. This is my third day of studying Kotlin. Though my channel name is the Kotlin King, that reflects my aspiration, not the current situation. In this video, I go through things that I learned very recently, so there may be mistakes and gaps in my understanding. To start learning Kotlin, we need to download two things. First, the IntelliJ um, program where we will write Kotlin. So we need to download the community version, and afterwards we need to download the Java development kit. Um, I downloaded the Java Development Kit 8 because that's what I was told to do in a couple of the Udemy courses that I took, and it seems to be working fine. So I think it's okay to do. And assuming you have done that already, once you open up the program, you will go through a couple of prompts and things like that. But assuming you're going to open up a new project, I'll just do it with you. Um, you will click the Kotlin library and framework and click next. And then here I'll just put hello. Open a new window. Should be ready pretty quickly. And here in under source, where you'll put most of your videos, click new and Kotlin file class, because that's what we're going to be writing in. And again, I'm going to put hello. Here, this is just to get you started, but I will finish with the traditional hello world. I'm going to type main, and here you could just press tab. So you just press tab and it fills out a function. You don't need to know what that means yet, but let's finish this. Type print line hello world, and then you press this green run, and we will get our obligatory hello world. And there it is. Now, I'm going to close this because that was just for demonstration. I want to go straight into the lessons and a few of the things that I recently learned. I'm not going to type out um, the things here live. I actually feel, um, you could literally pause this and type this out on your screen now that you know how to open up a new project and a Kotlin file. I actually want to spend most of the time on the video talking about the basic concepts. Um, as far as I know, and I have to caveat it that way because that's what I've learned so far, there's four basic variable types. There's the string, the integer, double, and boolean. And I'm going to presume you don't know what that is yet, so I'm going to explain it. Hopefully later on I could touch upon more intermediate and advanced concepts, but this is going to be very basic. But I think there's still a few nuances here that are quite important. Um, you declare a variable with the letters var, and I don't even know how you should explain a variable. Variable is basically a name for the content that you want to work with in programming. I think that makes sense. So in here, I'm calling a variable called name, and I have a colon here, and I say it's a string. A string to me is basically text, right? That's all it really is to me, and you have to put it in quotation marks. This right here is optional, and you don't have to put it. Kotlin is smart enough to figure out what kind of variable, what kind of information you want to put into this variable. Um, and the spacing here, right here, it could be no spacing. You could put spacing only on the right side, only on the left side. So don't worry about that. But again, here, when you declare a variable, and that's what you call it, um, basically you're saying that name is a variable. You don't need to put the variable type, um, but I did it here so it's clear what I'm doing. So this is basically saying the variable name has text the Kotlin king. This one is the variable name is age, and it is an integer. So whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, and I declare it as 34. Um, one interesting thing is that once you have determined this variable is an integer, um, you cannot change it into another variable type like string. Again, string is text. That is the easiest for me to remember. Um, so we set age as an integer, so you cannot declare it into a string like Kotlin. This will give you an error. You'll see here has an angry error. It says type mismatch. Basically, I cannot change the variable type. Once it is this integer, I cannot change it to a string. The next important variable type is double. I remember double as decimals. I think that is good enough for now. And this is a variable type, and that's what I said. Weight is, um, you know, a double variable type. I declare another variable. I hate that word declare. It sounds so arbitrary. I I make another variable. I think that's the better word. I make another variable here called, and it's a boolean. And boolean is the um, to me the most annoying concept that is so powerful, but it was very difficult to fathom why it's powerful. And as you progress, you'll figure out um, you know why it's so powerful. But basically, Boolean is it true or false? And I'm gonna come back to this over and over, also for my sake, for my understanding of why this is so important. But just for now, know that Boolean is true or false, and it will become apparent why it's so important later on. And that's all I'll say for now. There's another way to make or declare a variable. It's VAL. What's different about this one is that when you declare something as var, you could later change it. Um, we're going to talk about that here. It's called mutability, a fancy word for saying you can change it. Variables that you declare with VAL, you cannot change. Um, in this case, I use my wife as an example because no one is going to change who my wife is. So that could help me understand VAL wife. Um, so what I did here is I printed um, print ln. Ln is line. What it would look like on the program. So I'm gonna print each one of everything that we just made. I think I'm gonna keep calling it that made. I'm not Probably not the right way to put it, so maybe I should just say it the way it is, but whatever. Um, print line. So pretty straightforward. A printed text. String is text. Integer is numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. It printed out 34. Here is something I do want to address. here, right after we printed age, I put age equals 35. Remember, originally age was 34. Now I'm making it 35. This is what I mean by variable. I guess the word variable in itself implies some kind of changeability, mutability. Now age equals 35. So I print it again, and now it's 35, right? I print the weight, and I print the value of can code. Again, Boolean is true or false. Let's just remember it as that, and we'll come back to it. I think I I learned it, and it was confusing, and we'll come back to it. Um, Print line wife, Miss Kotlin King. I wanted to address one thing. When I first learned Kotlin, I had about 30 days of programming studying under me, and every time I had learned it under print. Um, so I was very curious to see what the difference is. Print line means for everything that you print, you do it on a new line, at least in Kotlin. I don't know about other languages. Print, however, in Kotlin, if you can see, I print name and I print can code here. I should put my mouse here so I don't obstruct the text. But basically, the Kotlin King and true. Remember? Kotlin King and true. If I just use print, they just stay in one line. I thought that was interesting and explain why there is a print line. I think that's all I'll say about that.